Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 8:56 a.m. and you are watching Aurora Weather here on Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Now, I know what you're thinking. Curtis, no tie? No tie? Nope. We're getting busy right after this. It's time to jump in. We got work to do out here. So let's talk about the weather. This is very important today and going through the weekend so we can detail what we can expect. Once again, the weather comes from the National Weather Service of Chicago, delivered to you here on Aurora Weather on Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. The headline above me, outlook through the weekend. Periods of showers and thunderstorms Friday night into next week. But what in detail, dear sir, does it mean? Well, let's talk about it. Today, we can expect a high of 56 degrees with a daytime low of 46 degrees. Now, the small print is it'll be coolest north of I-80. Think about it. Tonight, 38 degrees for the nighttime high, 28 degrees for the nighttime low. A 20% chance of rain south of I-80. Tomorrow, this is where the humdinger begins. 66 degrees for the daytime high, 54 degrees for the daytime low. A cloudy day tomorrow, a little bit of sunshine, but that cloudiness and small amount of sunshine takes us into 53 degrees for the nighttime high and 39 degrees for the nighttime low. On Friday night, that's when it's going to start getting a little bit wacky out there, ladies and gentlemen. A 70 to 90% chance of a thunderstorm. I'm going to call that likely. We don't know, though, but I'm going to say it's likely. 70 to 90% chance. That 70 to 90% chance of a thunderstorm takes us into Saturday morning, 68 degrees for the daytime high, 58 degrees for the daytime low. Now, it's getting warmer during the daytime, as we can see. However, on Saturday, we have the potential, indeed, for more thunderstorms with a 20 to 30% chance of said thunderstorms. Now, it'll be an overwhelmingly cloudy day on Saturday, a little bit of sun, that 20 to 30% chance of thunderstorms, and that gets us temperatures of 50s near the lake. Now, when you hear near the lake, what does that mean? Lake Michigan. Your cities up there that kind of border Lake Michigan, that's where you're going to have that 50s. So it's not around here. We got a river. 58 degrees for the daytime low on Saturday. Going to Saturday night, 41 degrees for the nighttime high on Saturday night, 34 degrees for the nighttime low on Saturday night. A cloudy night on Saturday night. But what do we notice about Saturday night? There is no raining or thunderstorms on Saturday night. So let's pause real quick. It looks like on Friday night we can expect the beginning of said thunderstorms. Saturday in the daytime we can anticipate. The word of the day is anticipate. We can anticipate more storms, but on Saturday night, looks like they'll go away. But only for a little bit, because look at Sunday. Boo boo. 62 degrees for the daytime high on Sunday, 50 degrees for the daytime low on Sunday. Now Sunday also has an amount of storms that we can expect as well, 40 to 60% on Sunday. Man. So that 40 to 60% storm chance on Sunday continues. Indeed, it persists into Sunday night, 49 degrees for the nighttime high on Sunday night, 38 degrees for the nighttime low on Sunday night. And then the 40 to 60% chance in the daytime increases to a 70 to 80% chance in the evening. So let's recap. Today, daytime high of 56 degrees with a daytime low of 46 degrees. Remember, it's going to start raining tonight, a 20% chance south of I-80, 38 degrees for the nighttime high, 28 degrees for the nighttime low. Tomorrow, 66 degrees for the daytime, 54 degrees for the daytime low. And then the rain starts tomorrow night, 53 degrees for the nighttime high. But Saturday, 68 degrees for the daytime high, 58 degrees for the daytime low. The rain and thunderstorms do indeed continue on Saturday during the daytime, but they go away at the nighttime. Don't forget that. 41 degrees for the nighttime high, 34 degrees for the nighttime low. Sunday, 62 degrees for the daytime high, 50 degrees for the daytime low, and more storms expected on Sunday in the daytime. More storms expected Sunday night, 49 degrees for the nighttime high, 38 degrees for the nighttime low. That is your weather report here on Good Morning Aurora and Aurora Weather. We have a great show for you guys today. We have the husband and wife team, Richard and Jennifer Clark of Area Code Audio, on the show, about to start. See you soon. morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 9:02 a.m. You are listening to and watching Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It's Thursday. We have a great show for you guys today. We're going to learn a lot and expose you guys to so much in the world and industry of podcasting. My guests today are Richard and Jennifer Clark, the husband and wife team of Area Code Audio. How you guys feeling?
Doing
Good.
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Glad to
be
see
here.
you. Glad to see you guys as well. Want to give a shout out to a dear friend, Corey Whitehead. Of
Yes,
course,
we love
good
Corey.
morning to you, Corey. We love you, my brother. So it's really good to meet you guys. Area Code Audio is based out of Batavia.
Yep.
We'll also be talking about Area Code Batavia. Before the listeners, introduce yourselves again, and then let's talk about how Area Code Audio came to be. What is the history of this fantastic company?
So I've been making podcasts since, they started, basically. I've always been early adopter. And that's just something I love to do. I love self-expression. I love creating things. And over time, I started to realize I love helping people create things almost more than I like creating things myself. And so I was trying to come up with ways to do that. I was an editor for a long time. I would help people, like a written editor, print editor.
Yes.
And in that business, I fell into podcasting as well. It's a nice supplement to print editorial.
Right.
And then I started doing work with brands and other people, helping them create podcasts and that sort of stuff. And so Area Code Audio is sort of born out of that, realizing, the thing that I love to do is help people create podcasts themselves. So that we started it in August, and we've just been basically working with different people, clients, to create podcasts.
All right.
Yes, and Richard and I have been married now for 10 years.
Yep.
And along with that partnership, I would say what's always been a constant for us is a business partnership as well, in that I was really an aid to him in some of his work when he was more frontward facing. And so, of course, when the time came for him to actually start a business on his own, I was there with him in terms of thinking through things like marketing, social media, and really using the skills that I have to help this business, knowing that as well as the business does, our family does better. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Because that's an integral partner too. The representation online,
Yes.
the marketing, and how the
Absolutely.
Area Code Audio deals with how the podcast sounds.
Yep.
The combination of both of you two working with Area Code Audio is how it sounds, how it looks, how it feels, and helping those clients achieve that. Quick question. Now, when you meet people who do ask or inquire about your services, are you meeting people who are complete novices at this? Or what's the ratio of people who are coming out and like, okay, I got an idea, I want to boost it up, or I don't know what I'm doing, but here's what it looks like on paper?
So it's both for sure.
Okay.
Like we have a lot of people who will come to us and go, businesses in particular will come to us and go, we feel like we need a podcast. Everyone's saying we need a podcast. Help us figure out what that would be. I love those questions. I love that because it means I get to sort of start from square one and help them think through some really fundamental questions about what the best version of a podcast would be. There are other people who say, we have an idea, this is what the idea is, and I will sort of vet that idea with them and then help them come up with the thing. And then there are people who already have a podcast and I'll help with production work or whatever it is. I'm happy to come in and do any of that stuff, like whatever's needed. We fill a lot of gaps with stuff like that.
Right. I like what you said about self-expression. That is important.
Yeah.
And as a person who I haven't been doing this very long. Our 4-year anniversary is this year. I can remember having something to say and wanting to say it, but not having, the ability was there in my head, the inner monologue. But now it is very rewarding.
Right.
It is very rewarding to be able to have something to say, tell it to someone, and see, in our case, see people come to events.
Right.
Or know that they went to go get their blood pressure checked.
Right.
That is very fulfilling.
Right.
It is. It does feel good. So to give other people that experience, I applaud you guys
Thank you.
For that. So let's talk about day one with Area Code Audio. Take me to the night before Area Code Audio was born. Pure panic.
It was terrifying.
Oh, goodness. Yes, terrifying because also a theme in our marriage is that Richard is typically the one who's been the 9-to-5 guy with the benefits. And
Right.
It took me a little while between having our family and working through some things for myself professionally to figure out what it was that I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to return to the workforce. And so what I was able to do is go from a background in social work to now digital marketing, and just doing a lot of, I felt like a series of tests and experiments of what it was that I was good at. And the thing that came out was social media with a PR focus, really going for almost an earned media mindset, where, you know, I really want to, again, connect with an audience, give them content that connects with them and that they can then share and engage with. And so looking for ways for how that could work together with what Richard was already doing on the podcasting front. So
Yeah, I mean, I would say day one was a lot of conversations and meetings, really, about like what are our clients, what is our focus, and that is a constant thing we're always talking about. What is our focus? What do we really? Who are we focused on? Who needs this service? And how do we double down on that sort of thing? You know?
Right. So to answer that, who needs it? Who needs it? Because you are right when you say that there's people coming out. I meet them all the time. I was told I should start a podcast. Your friend's always going to try to look out for you. You know, I mean, not everybody can rap, right?
That's true.
You know, so it's, you know, it's, you got to know what you're good at, what your strengths are. So who does need it? Who can benefit from the new medium?
So in terms of businesses, I would say like anyone who, I always say like if your CEO is like a natural storyteller, it best communicates vision through like actually telling their story or like talking to people versus writing. I think that's a great way. If you need sort of like a way to build brand loyalty, to build trust, and to get like, I think a lot of times in written contexts, it can be hard to like really communicate transparency, authenticity, those sorts of things. If you have faith in your company and its leadership, putting them out there so people can have the same kind of faith that you do is actually a really good way to do that. For individuals, I think it really like comes down to desire and talent and skill. Chemistry is a big thing I talk to people about. If you've got like a friend that you guys are like really good at talking, that classic thing where like we should have a podcast. Everyone does that. There's like, I would say you need a focus, right? Like a lot of times it is hard for people to like have the idea, okay, you want a podcast, but like it's not just you and your friend hanging out. Like it needs to be something more than that, unless you're famous.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, seriously. Right. Exactly. Unless you know you're the entertainer, rapper, whatever, who just decides to give 30 minutes of your time to just talk. Yeah. People are going to watch you anyway, just talking.
If you're that kind of person, it's like you're the subject matter.
Right.
That's interesting enough. But otherwise, you need something, I think, specific that people relate to and are interested in.
Yeah. And that's something we've seen, I think, time and again, working with some of our clients is, and hearing, you know, Richard has done a lot of, he does 30 minutes of free kind of consulting, just an initial meeting people can book to explore their interest in podcasting. It is easy to start a podcast. It is much harder to sustain one.
Right.
And that's also an area where Area Code Audio can assist and really, you know, I think kind of going in the right order and giving people and companies the foundation so that they can build something that is sustainable, that doesn't just burn out after a couple episodes.
Yeah, I've noticed too, especially when we talk about organizations.
Yeah.
And what have you. So our podcast started in the pandemic, you know, like 4 months later, here we come. I've noticed that many organizations did decide to do a pivot. They decided to either start a podcast or either empower employees within to market the organization differently. Whether that was a podcast, maybe. It could have been, like, for example, the Neighbor Project, I started our YouTube channel. We didn't have one before. Easier lifting than the consistency of holding a podcast, but for us it was monumental. You know, it's another way to get that message out there in a different format that was not being delivered.
Totally.
Sure.
Because, you know, as you said, on paper is one thing.
Yeah.
Hearing, seeing the individuals is a whole different thing.
Yes.
The time is 9:13 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. We're here with Richard and Jennifer Clark, Area Code Audio, and Area Code Batavia. Now let's Oh, I have the website for you guys too. The website is very nice. You can go to www.areacodeaudio.com. The link to the website will be in the description of this video. Tell me about Area Code Batavia.
Yeah, so this is something I'm really excited about.
Look how he lit up too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the new, I'm a person that gets excited when something's new.
Me too. Yeah,
I get a little bored when something's old. So this is our new thing right now. We're on the fourth episode, bi-weekly episode. So we've been doing it 2 months now.
Okay.
And the feedback has been really good. Okay, I should say what it is. Area Code Batavia is like a local podcast, kind of like what you're doing. It's a different approach in terms of its audio only. It's what I do is I go to people's locations and I have sort of intimate personal conversations. Why did you start this business? What's behind it? What is it? And what I say is it's a podcast about what it means to belong in Batavia, Illinois. So I love this idea of a deeper sense of belonging in your community, in the community that you live in.
Right.
Becoming acquainted not just with what's there, but why it's there.
Yes.
Who is there and what are they like? What's driving them? And that's really what that podcast is about, is getting to the bottom of those things.
I like that.
So.
I like that. That's a great topic and a great way to understand connectivity.
Yeah.
You know, because and that's why Corey Whitehead is the glue in our relationship here.
Yeah.
Because he's not just he's living it.
Yeah.
He's swimming in that pool.
Yes.
That is exactly why, because he understands that. And that's a good part of the strength of Good Morning Aurora too, though, because like it started because COVID came, and my list of issues was the same list of issues everybody had.
Yeah.
Everybody had the same issue.
Right.
So there's a rising tide is going to lift all these boats.
Yeah.
It's the same tide, you know. It's a lot of it's tied to, funding or legislative means, which helps keep a food pantry open, for heaven's sakes, you know, which feeds X amount of people. So our problems and our solutions are big, and if we all think in that way, we could do a lot. We could do a lot. So Area Code Audio, I do want to talk about the audio aspect of podcasting.
Sure, yeah.
Before the microphones came on, we were talking about how no matter how cool your thing is, ladies and gentlemen, this is the thing for all you people who want to start something. I'm going to just go live right now. Your audio. You could be interviewing the coolest person. You could have the coolest scenery. You could be but if the audio sucks, right?
Yeah.
Please detail the importance of audio.
Well, it's I talk about it in terms of baseline, right? So you got to have like a baseline decent audio, and every now and then you can have mistakes happen, whatever, and people might hang in.
Right.
But when they're first introduced to the podcast, and just generally over time, people expect a certain level of audio that sounds similar to what they're hearing right now. Right.
Exactly.
It needs to sound clear, not distracting, all of that stuff. I feel like too often people will sort of let stuff go, not think so much about talking close to the mic when you need to, that sort of thing.
Keeping your phones off.
Echo, mic bleed, things like that like really matter. That's all baseline. And to me, what's funny is it's so baseline to me, it's less interesting than really like the benefits of audio.
Right.
Because I feel like, you know, what audio does, and we were also talking before how we listen to radio.
Yes.
There's a level of intimacy there that you almost don't get, no offense, that you almost don't get with video.
You're right.
Because you're envisioning something, the listener envisioning something, and also the speaker, I think, feels a little looser.
Right.
And more able to sort of like be themselves in a certain way.
Yeah. This podcast started audio only.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
It started audio only, and we didn't, the listener, Tracy Duran, all y'all, Vanessa Rodriguez Aguirre, you guys know we didn't start doing video until 9 months or something like that. We had been around for a while. But our audio situation, as I was telling you guys, was terrible.
Yeah.
You know, it was terrible with good days.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the thing was until we started working at Gremlin Studios here in downtown Aurora. That was the first time where we actually had committed, capable, dedicated audio that was not failing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's what started the traction.
Yeah.
Because it was something different. It was brand new. It was completely underground. I mean, we were in the basement of the place, and the audio was great.
Yeah.
For that next 6 months.
Right.
Then it started, you know, we started going different places and doing different things. But no, that is important too, because I think what you said is true, and it could dissuade people.
Yeah.
I think that's a breaking point for a lot of people. Just saying, well, I'm going to just post it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there are just a lot of podcasts out there. And it is very hard to make something that is so good that people want to listen to it in spite of 40 million other podcasts. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it is very, like, when I listen to podcasts, I love podcasts, but when I listen, I'm typically listening for reasons not to listen. You know, I'm like, I love this idea, but like maybe there's a reason I don't have to listen to this in addition to the 70 other podcasts I tend to listen to.
Right. Okay.
And so I think like bad audio is a great reason not to listen, unfortunately. You know?
No, I totally agree. Totally agree with that. 9:19 is the time. So the marketing aspect and the audio being in tandem with area code audio. What would you say to anyone who is considering right now or has a podcast started but they're having the same issue we have? The audio is bad. What would you say to them right now?
Oh, interesting. So I think there are things you can it's hard to know how in the weeds to get, but I would say, I mean, there's just a lot of resources online for how that, you know, Google it, I think is a lot of it. Like these days, I think there are a lot of easy ways to make your podcast sound good. Honestly, though, and I think you know this, the number one thing you can do for good sound is like record well.
Right.
You can't usually fix things in post like you think you can.
Right. No.
So have good mics. I mean, good mics help. You know, Yeti's fine, but something a step up from Yeti, the Yeti mic is probably a good idea if you're just getting started. And find a software that you're comfortable in. These days, like, there are really user-friendly things you can use to make podcasts. Descript is one I talk about a lot because it's like using a Word document.
Really? Wow.
You can just cut things however you want.
Nice.
It almost makes me obsolete, not really. But there's a world where like
never that, right?
Yeah.
Never
like,
that.
never.
We love you, brother.
But like you can do your own thing, and
Sure.
I love that. Like for me, the accessibility of what it takes to make a podcast is great, and you can make it sound good. Like Descript has tools to make it. It's something called Studio Sound. Where you just click that button, and it's like, yeah, it sounds fine now.
Okay,
that's awesome. It sounds a little like you applied Studio Sound to it, but it sounds good.
Okay.
So.
How can the folks find you guys on social media? Where are you guys at on social media? What are those handles?
Yes. Okay, so we are at Area Code Audio on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram as well. Richard is very ambitious as a business owner. He not only makes podcasts for other people, he has 2 podcasts of his own. As we mentioned, Area Code Batavia, which, by the way, viewers, has a live show coming up. We will be at Sturdy Shelter Brewing on Thursday, April 11th from 7 to 9 p.m. Richard is going to interview Frank, Diane, and Oliver, who are the co-owners of that business.
Okay.
And so if you'd like to just hear it and see it for yourself, you can find us there. Tickets are available at sturdyshelterbrewing.com. And as well, Richard has a podcast called Podcasting for Humans, which, Curtis, we need to get you on because you all can talk shop. And it really is a long-form interview for podcasters.
I'm with that.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, deal made. Great, perfect. And Richard also writes a Substack newsletter that goes along with that answers those questions of how do I start a podcast by myself? What are the best resources to use? So I would recommend that as well.
So there was two phrases that I told you guys that I loved
Yeah.
about your website, and the website will be here for you guys to
Yeah.
check out. One was turn your customers into brand evangelists. And just like we're talking about, that's how we should be thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all the time, if we can. The other one was turn audience interest into personal investment. And I feel like podcasting for humans like really will embodies that, like both of those at the same time. An advice column for aspiring and current podcasters.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the title, by the way.
Thank you.
Podcasting for humans.
Thanks.
It's not as hard as you think. What it will
Right.
take from you and
Right.
what is required is less of an equipment thing.
It's a commitment. Yeah.
It's less of an equipment thing.
Yeah.
It's
totally.
not really the equipment.
That's right.
It ain't.
That's correct. Yeah. I mean, when I started recording podcasts, I did it with an iPad on a table. We would gather around the iPad and talk. I don't advise that anymore. You're not gonna, that's going to be a reason people don't listen.
Yeah.
But back
Right.
in the day, it would like worked, you know?
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
crazy.
Yeah, our show started with an iPhone 4.
Nice.
Wow.
It was an iPhone 4, and I put it on a little stand-up thing that I used to have.
Amazing.
And I was in my bathroom
Yeah.
because it was the only place where the sound was at least manageable enough to
Yeah.
not be completely horrible.
Wow.
And I would talk into that and then just like download the file
I love it.
and then post it.
That's great.
That was whatever it takes. Last question. 9:24 is the time, ladies and gentlemen. So what's the future hold? What's the future hold for Area Code Audio? We got the events coming up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If those are on Facebook, we'll share the flyer or
Yep,
whatever there is about
absolutely.
those.
We've got Facebook event. Yep.
Okay. What's the future hold for Area Code Audio? But also, let's speculate what's the future hold for podcasting. We got like 3 minutes.
3 minutes, this future of podcasting. Let's go. No, I mean, the question of Area Code Audio's future is constantly in flux because it's me and her. We can change on a dime, pivot on a dime, and we always think about it. You know what I mean? And so
Yep.
that's always up
Yeah.
in the air. But I'm hoping we can continue to put more like really authentic, genuine podcasts that connect deeply with people
Right.
out, whether
Right.
that's with clients or ourselves. I think the future of podcast, honestly, this is relevant. I think the future of podcasting is local. I think that I really believe this genuinely. I've thought about this a lot. It's not just because I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I believe this.
Right.
Like I think there's a big desire for local media that connects with people
Right.
and that helps people feel connected. And I think podcasting is the medium to accomplish that. Yeah, that's a big piece of what I think is next in podcasting.
In the
think
very
that's
near
beautiful.
future, though, for Area Code Batavia, we do have sponsorship opportunities. So again, viewers,
true.
if you have a business you would like to promote that is in the Chicagoland area, that promotion is going directly into the ears of people who could patronize your business. So please reach out.
Absolutely.
I think that's the other thing with podcasting is like smart sponsorships
Yes.
that feel genuine and organic, right? I think that's a big piece of like what podcasting can do that other mediums can't.
your mission, your missions and goals should align.
Yeah.
It's much more powerful when they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People pay for ad slots all the time.
Right.
When the boat's going up and it looks cool, yeah, I'll
Right.
put my little thing on it.
Yep.
But that's a long day's march between organizational goals that align, where the mission is the same. Like, oh, you're
Yep.
trying to end hunger, so am I.
Exactly.
Because sadly, not everybody's trying to do that.
Yeah.
But that's another story. That's a podcasting for humans conversation.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
deep, man.
Yep.
That's deep.
That's right.
That's the other thing I love about what we're doing too. And it says here on Podcasting for Humans, creating more empathetic, engaging, and relationship-building podcast experiences.
Yeah.
It's not just a flash pan. We're really doing this kind of thing.
Yes.
That's right.
I want to say thank you to our great guests today. Don't forget, y'all, Area Code Audio and Area Code Batavia, Podcasting for Humans. Get ready to see more of our dear friends here on the show. You'll hear a lot more about Area Code Audio as we go into the future. Also, the link to all of this will be in the description of this video. Right now, we're going to go to a commercial, and Buenos Dias Aurora is about to begin. So, Good Morning Aurora will go away. Like I said, we're going to 5 days a week, and Buenos Dias Aurora is going to start See you guys tomorrow with another great show.
Imagine what's possible when a city makes an unprecedented investment, a commitment that reshapes a city's landscape forever, that equalizes economic opportunity, elevates education for all, empowers businesses, inspires collaboration between institutions, improves public services, and enhances the lives of every resident. Now, imagine that city is ours. We know it's possible because other cities have done it. Places like Longmont, Colorado, a community that leveraged its investment in municipal electricity and upgraded its substations to create a 17-mile fiber loop, delivering critical connectivity to the city's institutions, organizations, and small businesses, achieving an incredibly high adoption rate. And in Pharr, Texas, a border town of 80,000, voted the least connected city in America, invested in 700 miles of fiber, delivering broadband managed services that are enriching residents' lives. Cities, towns, and regions are stepping up all over America. There is no question that Aurora can and deserves to be America's next great smart city. But it's up to us. We have a responsibility we can't ignore to see everyone living in our city, regardless of economic status, having broadband services that are simple, efficient, safe, and powerful. Imagine children having safe internet access anywhere, never needing to connect outside of a fast food restaurant. Imagine every building in every neighborhood and retail outlet, new and old, modernized, intuitive, secure. Imagine exciting subscribers with the ultimate broadband experience and giving parents control over all of it. Imagine deploying cyberbullying protection that notifies parents throughout Aurora that their kids are being bullied and providing resources to protect them. Imagine a city with first responders seamlessly connected and with safer public spaces. Can you see this smart city? Can you see our future? We do. Aurora is ready for world-class connection that serves our residents, that helps businesses grow and unifies our community. Let's take this opportunity to give all of our residents, businesses, and community organizations the advantages that come with unrivaled broadband infrastructure and services. Let's come together and deliver a world where digital equity creates a city that is smarter, safer, and sustainable for generations to come.
Not your bank's top priority? Here at Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. No hidden fees or runarounds, but a true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. Whether you're opening your first account, found your dream home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have the financial solutions to get you there. Stop settling and start experiencing a better way to bank. Wintrust, different approach,